back with another episode of To the Moon, and today we got, again, it's hard for me to keep saying this all the time because it's like every time I have a new guest on here, I'm like, these are my favorite people, but these two are literally my favorite people. Not only am I incredibly inspired by their story, but I've become friends with both of them. They live in Phoenix, Arizona, so we are close to each other. We get to actually hang out more often than I do with some of my other students, and that's an absolute treat. But guys, you are in for an incredible story because Heidi and Pete have been through it. I have watched their journey from beginning in the Astroflipping program, coming from completely unrelated fields, struggling, really having a tough time trying to figure out how to get things going with their mindsets, with the actual just activities and making things happen. And then to the moon they go. And I'm so happy and excited to tell you all about this heroic journey that Heidi and Pete have been on. And so you're going to want to watch this from the beginning, or you're going to want to watch this to the end, because it is absolutely inspiring, dramatic, and heartfelt. Welcome, Heidi and Pete, to the moon. I am so proud of you guys, and I'm so thrilled that you're here with me today. How are you both?
Doing good, Jamil. Thank you so much.
Hi, absolutely. I'm, you both know, because we get to speak, as I said, more often than I do with other folks, and but I'm just a huge fan of both of you guys. I love you both. I love your energy. I love everything that you've brought to the community. And but I want to know, I think everybody else wants to know too. How the heck did you find us? I mean, Pete, you were a truck driver. Heidi, you're a nurse. What the heck? Like, what the hell are you doing with the genie? Rewind us back. Take us back.
Gosh, how far back?
Well, I guess to when you found wholesale real estate, and then hopefully to when you found me.
Yeah, I think ultimately my journey started just, with sobriety, but once I got sober, then I was left with, now what? I'm not drinking. I'm having to be in reality and deal with life. And, and one of the things that I'm taught in sobriety is boredom actually can cause you to go back.
Absolutely.
To your alcoholism. And so I just one day was scanning videos, and I saw Grant Cardone on a interview in October of last year, 2021. And he was talking about his show Undercover Billionaire. So I binge watched that. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to get into marketing, Mavis Marketing and Media. And of course, my husband and daughter are like, who's Mavis? I'm like, I don't know. It's a name in my head. I like the name. That's going to be our business. But then because of, those videos, real estate stuff started coming through my feeds and my advertisements. So then I learned about wholesaling. I was like, what the heck is this? This is crazy. And, just how to do it, the process, more and more stuff came through. And so I joined Arizona Real Estate Investors Association in November. I went to a business vision workshop that they held in Phoenix in December. By that time, your videos were coming through on my feed. And I was just like, man, I really like this guy. He's genuine, and I feel like he's heartfelt. Not that all these other people didn't, but there was just something different. And there was another program that I was looking at, and we looked at some of them too, $20,000, $40,000. And with me not working and him driving the truck, I was like, well, if we had $20,000, we could invest in real estate ourselves. We wouldn't need your help.
Right.
But one of the big things that I heard that I think stuck in my mind the most was, and we hear it all the time, if you want to be successful in something, get a mentor.
Yes.
Partner up with somebody that knows what they're doing, that's been doing it for a while and has been successful in it, and learn from them. So between your program and another program, I went with your program because I, at the last minute, got a little, I guess, voice in my head. And it wasn't the a-hole voice. I think it was the good voice that
I hope so. I mean, things have turned out.
Yeah.
So
we'll
call that one the good one.
Yeah, well, it was the voice that said, "Don't go with that one. They're not genuine." And
It
so
was the universe talking to you, man.
yeah, exactly. And so I was like, okay. And in October, end of September, his truck was damaged and he had been out of work for a couple of weeks. And because it was damaged on the lot of his company, they owed us money. And so we had been waiting for this check. So the day that I called Astro and I signed up and, or that I was talking to them, and the guy told me, we did the payments and he said what the first down payment would be. Well, that was the day that insurance check came in the mail.
Wow.
Yeah. And I talked to my husband, I talked to Pete about it. He says, "Hey, if you really think that you can do this, I'm all for it. I support you 100%. And he did support me. We had 5 months of payments and he drove the truck and always away from home. And he worked super hard for me to be successful. And we would talk about both of us doing this together. But if there's no income, right. Somebody's got to work. But finding the program and the stuff that I learned, it's definitely stuff that he saw growth in me to where he wanted to be a part of it too.
Isn't that so remarkable, right? When we're around our significant others and they start to watch us evolve and they start seeing differences in the way we're thinking and the way we behave and just little things. It's not like you just wake up a completely different woman one day. You're Heidi. You're just the better version of Heidi. You're the one that wants to get up and get to work every day. The one that wants to get up and make things happen. The one with the positive attitude, right? With hope and with courage and with a plan. And so there's a lot that happens when you get set on the right path. And obviously you've ran down that path and things have gotten really good for you. And we'll get to that, guys. But I wanted to touch on the first part of what Heidi said. And she'd mentioned, sobriety, right? And this, not know, but I struggled with alcoholism and painkiller problems for many years after an accident that I was in, and no excuses for it. It was just, where I was in life. And so Heidi and I share that. We share that the common struggle there. And it's so incredible to have somebody that has gone through that and is going through that every day, because you're never over it. You're never through it, right? You do your best today and you show up today, and that's that. And so I wanted to just congratulate you for that before we even get into the real estate, because Heidi, what a thing, right? You getting sober is what got you here. And like life is just, I mean, I don't know how long it's been, but like if you could go back even just to your rock bottom, because that we all remember when rock bottom hits, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you look at rock bottom to today, I'm sure it probably wants to make. I say that, and I don't know where you were in rock bottom, but it's bringing tears to my eyes thinking about it.
Do you remember the first time that we actually physically met? What I showed you?
Your chip. Yep.
My 24-hour chip just for today. I keep it in my pocket so that every day I can remember where I came from. And every day I can remember that I only have to get through today.
That's great.
It's so powerful because, just briefly, part of my history, I was a nurse for 23 years. I was a registered nurse in the pediatric and neonatal intensive care unit. Loved my job. I used to tell people all the time, how many people do you know that have been in a profession for 20 years and love their job? I get to wear pajamas and go to work and play with kids all day. Right. Like, it's a great job. And it literally was ripped away from me in 2019. I had no choice in the matter. Everything that was just me, because that was me, that I was the nurse, that was my identity. And man, for a year, almost a year and a half, that deep pit that I went into many times could have taken my life. And this wonderful man right here stood by me.
I love Pete.
I do too.
He's such a good dude, man. I every time I see him, I just, and you know, he shrugs it off. And that's his way. That's his way. He's just like, yeah, I'm just Pete. But you know what? You are one heck of a guy. I have to say, you know, from the moment I met you on one of these calls to the time I got to actually give you a hug physically when we met in person, and every time since then, Pete, I see in you what I want to be in a husband, as a husband. I
Oh,
see
thank
that
you.
support. I see that guy that shows up for his girl, you know? And I
Yeah.
can see every time you look at her, the look in your eyes, that's my girl. That's my lady right there, you know? And I think that's magical. I think it's wonderful seeing you guys support each other because look, in entrepreneurship, it's actually very rare where the significant other or your spouse is like fully supportive. There's always that little bit of doubt, there's that trepidation, there's that, oh, here we go again, another thing, another shiny object, another rabbit hole they're going down. I don't know how much this one's going to cost us. And this becomes a pattern for a lot of people. And you didn't, even though she had just, you know, you knew she was fighting with sobriety, you knew that she had, you know, profession was over in nursing. And I don't think that she probably had shown you a lot of evidence that she was, you know, gonna pull through it. And you still believe in her. You still believe in her. You believed in her then, and you believe in her now. And that belief in her, Pete. I mean, you as a significant other, as a spouse, you deserve a lot of credit. You deserve a lot of love and a lot of respect for what you've brought to the table in that relationship. And I just need to tell you that as somebody that's from the outside looking in, you're the man, dude.
Well, thank you for that. But you know what? It's actually really easy to be supportive of her because, and I've told her this before. I mean, in fact, I tell her all the time, and I'm not exaggerating. She's absolutely brilliant. She's a brilliant woman and person, individual. And honestly, that that's actually what attracted me to her from the beginning. Was, I mean, her inner light was what caught my attention, but my focus became because of her brilliance. I mean, she's just, I don't know how else to describe it. She's just brilliant.
She is. She is. I've witnessed it myself. I've seen you come in, be a quick study, and get it done. So I show up in your feed. You sign up. You get this check from an insurance situation. You're making payments, and then here we go. Right. You're sitting in this. You're going through the modules. You're learning, and learn. She did, guys. I could tell that Heidi was taking the situation seriously because her questions were on point. She would show up to every call and with real questions about what she was learning and really trying to digest and metabolize the information. But beyond that, she was trying to start taking action and start putting things into go. And that right there is the mentality that gets you to the gold, right? It absolutely does, because if we take too much time to try to perfect things, if we take too much time to try to overthink or overcomplicate what we're doing, it gets very difficult. And we see this all the time. I believe in the beginning, you overcomplicated a little bit. You absolutely definitely had some mindset hiccups, right? Like you know, when it comes to belief in yourself and just belief in the process and really trying to energetically tune yourself to success, that was the first major hurdle, I think. Forget your first deal. Oh my God. I think the first deal you had was the deal you made with yourself.
Right.
That's the first deal I think that happened, because you did make a deal with yourself. And that is when I saw it click. Heidi changed, right? So let's talk a little bit about what happened to you mindset wise. How are you thinking and how are you feeling? And then where did it go?
Well, I will, like, I joined December 21st last year, right before Christmas. And when they told me 6 weeks of videos, in my mind, I'm like, and they're like, you do the first so many weeks, and then if you're done early or quick, then we'll unlock the last 2 weeks of videos for you. And I'm like, man, I'm going to barrel through these videos. I'm going to get started. I'm going to pay off this program. I'm going to get my deal, and we're gone. And I would say probably the beginning of January, I got a house under contract. I think it was in Cincinnati, and wasn't able to move that one. And so by the beginning of February, I think I had 5 houses under contract, MLS deals. And to me, they looked good, but I hadn't finished the program. I got through week 3 and thought, I got it. I know this. I can do it. And I just remember thinking, that really stinks. Like, how come I'm not getting this? Like, what's going on? But one thing that I remembered, and a lot of the mindset work in the Astroflipping program helped me to realize this, because we don't always remember situations in our past and how we got through them. Because so many of us tend to focus on negative when that negative is right there in front of you. And so then I thought to myself, just like in my sobriety and just like with nursing, when I went to nursing school, I didn't expect to go to school for a week or 6 weeks and then be out there in a hospital taking care of patients and knowing everything that I knew how to do and be successful at it. It took time. It was a process. And and I tell people that in sobriety too, in my meetings that, that are newcomers, you have to understand that, just coming in here isn't going to keep you sober. It's continuing the work and learning and educating yourself and working on your mind and how you think. And so I got discouraged, but I'm like, you know what? I don't know everything. I have a mentor that I can talk to about this, learn from, bring to the Zoom calls. And so I did. And I think it was in February that I brought a deal, or not a deal, but an address to you to comp. And we started getting to our numbers were like right on. And I remember in that Zoom call, you're like, Heidi, okay, like you've got this. You don't have to bring comps to me anymore. You've got this. Like literally you have perfected comping. And I think it was also you, when I came to a call discouraged, that you had told me you've perfected comping, so maybe offer yourself to others in the community to help them with comps. And so I did that for like 2 or 3 months. And of course, that little voice in the back of my head, you didn't get the deal, you didn't pay off the program, your husband's out there working his butt off. But you know what? I had to tell that voice, you know what? I'm in the right place at the right time as the right person with the right people. It'll happen when I'm ready for it to happen, whether I want it to be when it happens or not, but it's meant to happen when it happens. So yeah, May 6th is when we closed that deal, the first deal. That was $9,990. And yeah, I posted the wire in Facebook. I was excited because even as a nurse, people think nurses make so much money. We do, but we spend our money too. And that was the first time in my life I ever had more than $10,000 in the bank account, ever.
Wow. Wow.
And it was so exciting.
I mean, I remember when I got my first cashier's check. I didn't cash that thing it was months. In fact, I had just folded it up and I put it in my wallet and I would just show like family and like, buddies, like I'd be like, look what I'm doing. And they say, bro, you got to cash that thing in 6 months. Otherwise it's going to go bad. You can't keep a cashier's check in your wallet forever. That's not how it works. So eventually I cashed that sucker, but I get what you're talking about, because when you come from a limited life, right? When you hadn't seen money like that. And for me, I mean, gosh, my first deal was $47,000. And so like, and this is back in 2002. And so $47,000 today, back then was like $100,000 basically, so it was like mind blowing to me, that kind of money. But you got $10,000 in the bank and then it's real, right? You're like, wow, this is real. And Pete's probably like, holy crap. Oh, you better get that money out of the bank before somebody comes and takes it, because I can't keep it.
Close. But now that you mention it, that was actually, I had not heard of wholesaling or any of that before. So to me, when she was telling me about it, I was like, okay, well, at least she's focused on something, whether it'll bear fruit or not, we'll see. But when that check came in, I was like, holy shit, this is real. Oh, sorry. I'm sure
You're
you'll
fine.
I told
Don't
him
fucking worry about it, Pete. We're on YouTube. Nobody cares. We're good.
I'm like,
We're
wow,
good.
this is real. Oh my God, this is real. And I was like, okay, cool. And at that point, that's when and I'm not ashamed to admit it, I was skeptical.
Yeah, that's okay. There's no shame in being skeptical, brother. You know what? You were skeptical, but you were supportive. You know what you didn't do? You didn't come and dump a bunch of negative crap into Heidi's head with your skepticism. You didn't discourage her. You didn't make her feel like crap. You didn't make her feel like quitting. You didn't make her feel like stopping. You no matter what was going on in your head, skepticism and whatever, pessimism, whatever was going on there, you showed up a supportive husband. Again, another reason why you're such a good dude, bro.
And he did. He did.
But no, it was never pessimism. It was I was never negative about it. It was skeptical. It was one of those, I'll just stand back and see how it plays out.
Right.
It was again, that's not negativity. Right. That's just caution.
Yes. Yeah. And caution is good. It's good to have that, right? Because you never know. And you guys had talked about another $20,000 or $40,000 program. And I can tell you guys that there's a lot of education out there that has some very interesting models, right? Where you pay $20,000 and then you get in and they're like, well, you know, so you got halfway through the book, but if you want to get to the end of the book now, you got to pay us another $60,000.
Right. Yeah. And see that model of which we speak and you're talking about, they didn't brand it as wholesaling. They branded it as something else. Okay. And come to find out, it's the exact same thing, but the way they phrased it was networking. Okay. But without understanding the intricacies of wholesaling, I didn't know what it was. Yeah. So anyway, but aside from that, we moved on from there. But when I saw that first check come in, I was like, woo, all right. You know, it's like, we can do this. All right, cool. So at that point, I started learning how to comp. I was watching your videos. Yeah, that Autocompin, that's hilarious. I love that title. Straight out of Compton. Anyway, and yours, what's his name, Jerry Norton?
Yep.
Anyway, his so I was trying to gather as much info from as many different people, and come to find out that there are so many methods to do this comping. And I was like, you know, let's just keep it simple. And yours is just simple and it's effective, and I like it. So I went with that model. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, while studying the truck, I was watching the videos as I'm driving. You know, anyway, and I was trying to put them to practice with the Zillow app on my phone, and but I'll let Heidi carry on from here. So yeah,
you guys are collaborating now. He's in the truck and he's starting to get a little bit excited because he's like, man, we just got 10 G's in the bank, and you know, this is good. I'm gonna help. I'm gonna become a part of this. So you rope him into the game. And then what happens with you, Heidi? You get confident now. I remember the confidence. Like you came in, it was like I think you dyed your hair purple. You did like, you went, it might still be there. She got confident, guys. I'm not kidding. Like she was just like head up. I got this. I know this now. And Jamil just said, I've perfected comping, and I'm going to take that. And I'm gonna own it, and you did, and you helped a lot of people, and you still help a lot of people get an understanding of how to do that right. And what the funny thing is that guys, I'll say this, right? There's very few people that I've watched pick up comping as fast as she did, and she's accurate, right? She gets it. So you guys see, there's a phone number on the screen, 602-918-0612. If you've got a deal in where? Florida, AZ, where are you working?
Arizona.
Only Arizona.
Well, we were doing Arizona and Vegas, and we can get on that later. But yeah, now I think we're just going to focus on Arizona.
Okay. If you got a deal in Arizona, guys, and you need help with comps, hit her up. Her number's there, but we haven't gotten there. We haven't gotten to that part yet. So You got Pete in it now. It's you and Pete. He's on the road. You're at home. How does the business keep unfolding?
So I think it was the end of May. His truck broke down in California, and it was in the shop over there, and it was going to be a few days, and
It had to be a week.
Yeah, but I'm sure you remember when I got that first deal, and I was like, okay, what can I do now to expand my business? And you're like, keep your money. I
said, don't you dare spend that money.
I know. I like deflated right there on screen. I was like, but but you told me start building your systems or like building your business when you're doing 2 to 3 deals consistently a month. And I was like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. But his truck broke down, and the money, because we paid our expenses, we paid stuff that we kind of had started getting behind on. So the money was kind of going away, but we still had a little bit. Well, he decided to come back over here to come home while his truck was being worked on in Southern California.
The Greyhound bus ticket was a hell of a lot cheaper than motels for a week.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so he was here for a few days, and we finally got the word that, okay, yeah, your truck will be ready the next day. And so I was like, road trip, let's go. I haven't been to California in a while. And we got there. And we got a hotel room, and then they're like, oh no, your truck's not ready. And it was going to be like another 2 or 3 nights of hotels. And we're like, and no income coming in except for, that deal. And so he told me, we had a conversation, and he said, I'm just so tired of this kind of stuff. And truck driving just doesn't make me happy anymore. And just these new truck drivers, and and I'm not home, and I'm away from you. And I said, then stop driving, come home, join the business, let's do it. We can crush it.
It's a myriad of things, but ultimately it boils down to 33 years of doing that, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I was like, I am so done. And ultimately, I think the final straw was when I climbed back in the truck after they told me it was all fixed. Everything was fixed. I turned the key on, let it idle to build air, and then all the dash lights, the dash just lit up. All the same lights that were on when it broke down are
it
back
wasn't
on.
Fixed.
And I was livid. I was like, screw this. I grabbed all my stuff, and I said, she had already left.
Yeah, I was already down the highway.
She's down the highway. I called her up. I'm like, turn around. I'm coming home with you. Because I was just done, and I called the company. I said, hey, your truck, the finance company, I was like, your truck's sitting at Kenworth. Go pick it up.
So that basically started our journey. It was a long drive back to Arizona, back home from there. It's 6-7 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we definitely did a lot of soul searching. By then I was really, nobody's ever done with mindset work, but I was really in a better state of mind overall, because every day, every deal, it's like a different mindset and you improve. But I told him, I said, you know what, we're going to be okay. And this is possible for us to do. And when we got back to Tucson, and he wanted to jump in, like, okay, all right, I'm ready to do this. And I added him as my business partner on the Astro program, because when I signed up, it was my daughter. She was going to join our business, but never did. And I told him, get through the first 3 weeks of videos. I understand, you know how to comp now. You think this, you think that, but so that I'm not taking time from generating leads and trying to close deals. Just start with the first 3 weeks of videos, continue after that. But once you first did the first 3 weeks, you have that knowledge, you have the terms, the understanding, then we can do it. And so we were supposed to close a couple of deals, 1 or 2 deals in July that got extended into August. So we closed our next deal from May 6th to August 3rd is when it closed. That was a long time.
That's a long time.
That's a long time when you're like our age. We didn't have a savings account because we're those people, and it was a struggle. But in June, we went to the mastermind, and we decided after that mastermind, we really needed to work on our mindset and meditation and setting intentions, writing down our goals, creating a schedule, and really doing everything that successful people do. And we did. And so it still was hard. And there were days that were like, we had to get a food box. We had to get a food box at some point in July from the sketchy church guy next door to my AA meeting, that most of the vegetables on the bottom were like soft and turning, but it was provided for us, you know? I mean,
it came in handy.
I know. I know you're not knocking it, but it's still
at the right time. And
it's not good vegetables, you know. They're
right, exactly. But even in July, when we were like down to our last $20, there were so many weeks we had like double digits, maybe single digits in our bank account. And then all of a sudden, you know, because we put it out to the universe, you know, that we're going to be okay. The universe was telling us, giving us that feeling. One day, this check, we have a deposit into our account for like $600 or almost $600.
That's 576.
Yeah, and we're like, wait, where did that come from? It was his company with some kind of a final payment.
Yeah. So
wow.
What's really funny was that we had, I think we might have had like just a little over $100 left, and we're like, well, we're almost out of. Okay, so she cooks the dog's food. Okay, she makes it fresh. And anyway,
we had $20 in our account and had to decide.
No, we had just a hair over 100, but but we're all like, well, the dogs have to eat. I mean, you know, we can survive, but the dogs have to eat. And we decided to go to the supermarket. So I got on to check, see how much money was actually in the account, and I'm like, hey, babe, why is there 700 or 600 and some odd dollars in the account? She's like, what?
Take it all out before they take it away.
Dude, I so thought that. I really did too. I was like, listen, oh my God. Sorry. Anyway, I so thought that too. Anyway, but then I went in and I figured, the company for whatever reason sent us that last check. And
that was the beginning of July. And so of course we had the rest of July. The deals that we thought were going to close didn't close. And August 3rd, we're like, had a deal with the water company that they were going to shut off our water on Thursday. And so Wednesday, I'm in the kitchen and we're expecting this property to close, money to be wired. Don't know when it's going to happen or when it's going to come to our account. And I'm in the kitchen, turned on the water and slow trickle. Oh. And I looked at him, I was like, are you doing laundry? And because our daughter wasn't back home yet, it was just us in the house. He's like, no. And I ran to the back of the house, and sure enough, the water guy was in the alley turning our water off. And, of course, I'm like, hey, you weren't supposed to do that till tomorrow, and he's like, sorry, I get the order. You need to call him up. But my first thought was, at least I didn't have a head full of soap in the shower.
Silver lining, right?
Right.
I was like, that would have really not worked well, because we were also down to the last few bottles of water.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I got on the phone with the water company and just something told me, check your bank account. I had the water lady on speakerphone. I checked our bank account. Boom. The money had been wired into our account.
How much came in?
It was $6,000, and our water was turned on that day.
Not the water bill, but the amount in the bank.
Oh yeah, the water bill wasn't $6,000.
No, the wire was $6,000.
Yeah.
And has it gotten that dark again since? It's not, right? It's been good since then, right?
Oh, very
Well,
much
we
so.
did get an eviction notice, but you know,
That's
we were
that's
able to
something
take
totally
care of
different.
that, and you know, but that happened in August because our property management just is real slow with communication. But it still was scary.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh shoot, but you know, but even beginning of the summer, we knew our lease is up end of September, and I told him right off the bat, by September 28th, we're going to buy an RV. We're going to go on the road and we're going to be digital nomads like Paul and Michelle. I mean, we're not going to fly over water because I'm afraid of that, but we're going to like be on the road.
So real quick though, I have to touch on something, a couple of things that got skipped over. One is from the time I got off the truck to the time that that wire came through. I mean, we were, if I don't know if you know who Blanche Dubois is, the character from
Golden Girls.
No.
Streetcar Named Desire.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. I read that book in high school.
Her whole model, the whole thing was, it's like I've always depended on the kindness of strangers. Anyway, yeah, that's how we were. We were being given money. Excuse me. By other people. So
yeah, money would come to us from unexpected places, and that was how we ate. You know, weren't able to pay bills with it, but we at least had our electricity on, and we, you know, still had our water on, and we were able to go to the store. I mean, even our daughter and son-in-law, you know, they were able to send us money, and they were the last people that we thought, and they took it upon themselves to pay the phone bill. You know, it was definitely a rough journey that couple of months. And
yeah, and the other thing that got skipped over was the first couple of weeks that I was home. She was busy, super busy all the time, super busy. And I brought it to her attention. I'm like, babe, you're constantly comping, but I don't see any offers going out. You know? And I think that might have clicked something in her, because it was like, oh yeah, she was comping stuff for other people, which I don't have a problem with that. But it's like, at what point do we start making offers? And that's, I think that's what like clicked.
She turned the dial. She turned the focus. She turned the dial, and she was like, okay, I got to go this direction.
And then that's when everything took off. So.
And you know, honestly, I think too, there was a wholesale hotline episode in June where you and Brent and Pace were still just on that. Guys, I guarantee you minimum of 25 connections a day, and you're guaranteed to get a deal in 30 days. My rebellious nature finally was like, okay, all right, I'll do it, and I'll prove them wrong.
And you didn't.
You weren't wrong. You weren't wrong at all. It worked. So between the mastermind, between Astro, you know, buckling down, like right now, Monday through Friday, every morning we wake up at 3:30 in the morning, and we join a 4 a.m. Mindset Zoom. And after the Mindset Zoom, we have 20 to 30 minute meditation. And before our daughter came home, we sat on our sofa in our living room, and we had like our hour of activity, you know.
Because we can't do the lotus position, so we sit on the sofa.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I got a bad back, and my knees are all janky. I lay down in a bed to meditate. Don't.
That's what we do now. Yeah. Because with our grandson and daughter here now, our morning routine definitely had to change. Like,
we have to adapt.
Our exercise in the morning, because neither one of us are like keen on going to a gym or anything like that. And I'm like, let's clean the house. That's activity. So, you know, when our daughter grandson came home, well, you can't run the vacuum at 5:30 in the morning. So we've just modified that schedule too, but we still make it our practice to meditate every morning, even on the weekends. You know, we created a schedule for ourselves. But when we went into it, our schedule, we determined, is a guideline. You know, it's not going to be, we're OCD about this schedule, but as long as we try to do our best to meet the goals that we set for every day. And we did that consistently. And like, we haven't been as consistent because we're still trying to figure out this routine, since it's not just us in the house again, and we have an office, but we do get interrupted. But that's okay, because we're still closing deals.
Mhm.
And it's still working. And, you know, we just realized that no matter what happens in the course of our day, we started our day off great by getting into the right mindset.
Absolutely. So you get the $6,000, right? You get the $6,000. You pay the water bill. You're in this like powder keg now of energy, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna prove these idiots wrong, and I'm gonna make all these calls. I'm gonna get super consistent and just show them that consistency doesn't work. And then what happens after that? Where do you go?
Oh my. Well, one of the deals in July that we were supposed to close was the one with Sarah Miller and John Galan in Tampa. That was an accident for me. You know, for us, we're not in the Florida market, but Sarah put the blast out, the alert, hey, I need help. I was like, okay, I've got a couple of buyers when I was chasing shiny objects all over the country before I focused. Because that's the other thing too, to just real quick touch base on. I was guilty in the beginning of chasing shiny objects in Cincinnati and Atlanta, Indianapolis, here, there, because my mindset was, how am I going to be successful here at home when there's so many heavy hitters here?
Mm-hmm.
There is no way.
It's that you are the proof that it's all that's bullshit. It's not that doesn't matter.
I mean, it's probably a little bit more challenging, but it's not impossible. And so, yeah, like that happened with that deal, and like, okay, we're going to do this. We had a buyer and all this kind of stuff that fell apart, but that property came back around and it closed August 31st. With the buyer that between John and Sarah and myself, again, you know, it closed, you know, we have Dispo Wholesaler, who is also an Astro student, who brought the end buyer, and it closed. So, you know, we had that literally for the month of August, we generated $30,500.
Damn, $30,500.
And guess who's never had more than 20 grand in a bank account?
wait.
Notice I'm pointing at her, not us.
Yeah. So you got more than 20K in the bank, and then you still got more in the pipe. Like, this isn't done. Like, what's on the horizons? You're rich.
Well, I know, right? We can go buy a toy Lambo.
No.
No, I said a toy, a Matchbox.
Yeah, a toy boy, a toy. Yes, you can have a toy Lamborghini. You can.
So today we're recording on our 35,000 deal, and Friday we're closing on a 10,000 deal. And what else did we have? Oh, and then on September 2nd we closed on the 7,600. So far for September, between that deal and the one closing today, we're at $39,000. And then our $10,000 deal on Friday, because I don't count the money till it's in the bank, really. That'll be a $49,000 month. And we're not even halfway, we're halfway over what right now? We're just over halfway over.
There's like 10 days left.
10 days to go.
Wow. It's just, this is like the most heartwarming, incredible story to hear. And everybody that's listening to this right now, how can you not just resonate with what these two have been through? We've all gone through terrible times, you know, like I've had my utilities shut off. I've had my wife used to have to send me money. Not like she wasn't my wife then. I'm surprised she married this broke ass, to be honest with you. You know, because when we were still dating, I didn't have money to even call her because we were long distance. I was in America, she was in Canada, and she used to send me $40, and she was a housekeeper. So she'd go make $80 cleaning a house, and then she would send me 40 of it to refill my phone card so that I could call her for the week. You know, this is where we were. I'd go get those Stouffer's dinner in a bag,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'd cook those suckers up, and they'd last me 3 meals. And you know, they were $6. I thought, oh, I got this life figured out. You know, I'm eating for $3. I got, you know, my girlfriend sending me phone card. I can manage this. But it's like, I remember what that was like. I remember when it was really freaking hard to get anything done, and like everything was just so expensive, and you had to think 5 times for every purchase. You really had to. And now also my dog was the only buddy I had at that time. So like him having to eat was a thing.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
to figure out how to feed Mashy, you know? And that was just the part of all of that struggle, you know? And so I get it. And I resonate with where you guys have been. But it's so nice to have all that money in the bank, isn't it?
It is. And honestly, even through, you know, those trying couple of months that we didn't know where we were going to be, what was going to happen, you know, where we were going to get food, the help that was coming in, the thing, at least with my meditation, every single morning, I put out there gratitude, abundance, and prosperity. And even on my emails, when I email people, my signature is infinite gratitude and appreciation. And then my name and business, because that's exactly how I feel. I mean, we have been blessed so much in the course of our entire lives, but especially in the last couple of months. I mean, the end of May until the beginning of August, I think, was probably the lowest point financially that we experienced together, but we're still here. We're still strong. And it's because of that, the meditation, the practice, the consistency. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on here, but all of this hard work has paid off. And I'm speaking at the mastermind. Like, who would have thought?
Yeah, you are.
2 or 3 months ago. I know that's what
it is. It's official.
But
you
I mean,
are.
yeah. And who would have thought that? And I'm just like so consumed with gratitude over everything the universe has to offer. You, Astroflipping, my AA program, my husband, my daughter, like every single thing that I can look at. I have so much gratitude in my heart that I did not have before May 14th of 2021 when I got sober.
I'd like to dovetail on that. So yeah, this period where we were down financially, that was probably the worst that for myself, that I've experienced ever, except for when I was a kid. We were dirt poor when we were kids, and I swore I'd never be there again. And then I was here in that position not too long ago, but my mindset was different. I didn't see it as bleak. I saw it as, okay, at this point, I was more, it's hard, but you know what? I still have my life, my breath. My wife's still here. She hasn't like up and left, you know, and it'll get better. And I had started the spiritual journey of growth whilst I was in the tribe over the last year. And, but it's still working, obviously, but it I can't even pronounce that word. Anyway, it hit its peak right then and there during that period where I was like, I'm not going to stress. I can't stress. This is the universe is given to us and freely, and got to have that abundance mindset. And here we are. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but
it makes sense to everybody. You know, Pete, like everything that you're saying right now, especially for those of us that are on that path, that path of, you know, realizing ourselves as human beings. It's the term is called self-realization, right?
Yeah.
When we get to understand ourselves as actually divinely inspired and creators on this planet, we can create. And that means that we can create our realities, we can create our opportunities, and we can also create our hell.
Yes, and that right there, the one of the things I want to say is I'm so glad that she chose your mentorship because, again, I had started that spiritual journey of growth a year ago before I knew about you and Astro. But honestly, all you're doing is reinforcing what I've been learning and helping me elevate my own awareness. And thank you for that.
Well, we're all. I'm so sorry. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
That's okay. No worry, man.
Okay. I apologize. I have a cleaner at my house right now. She doesn't know that I'm on a podcast. Give me a second.
I thought you were going to say you had a gas problem.
Nice one. Hold on.
Oh, that's jacked up, dude. You made a man.
Sorry about that, guys. This is real life, you know. What do you do? It happens.
Yeah, exactly.
You adapt and overcome.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to kick our cat out of the office because I don't know if you've seen her on our Zoom calls when
she's always I've seen your cat's butt more than I care to acknowledge.
Oh, I know. And you know, it's
So
anyway,
what's next? What's next? Are you guys getting that RV? Are you guys going to become digital nomads? What's the plan?
Yeah, actually, so we're probably going to be coming up to Phoenix tonight.
For the
meetup tomorrow night, because I have my eye on a few used RVs that we would like to go look at. The abundance of RVs for sale is greater in a bigger metropolitan area. And so the meetup tomorrow night, and then
another meetup the day after.
Sophia Willits is having her thing Thursday night, so we're going to that because we've connected with her and had conversations with her. So yeah, I think I don't know that I told you, but I really hope that we come home with an RV.
No, you did say that.
but I also think, and I was telling Emily that I think that it would, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's not meant to be. But wouldn't it be the coolest thing when we come to the mastermind to present that our RV is parked right there, and when we're doing our presentation, we can say the proof is in the pudding. Our goal has been achieved. It's right there in the parking lot. But we have 4 goals.
I would absolutely. I'm you know, hearing you guys and where, you know, what has all happened, like it. I've had to fight back tears a few times today, you know, and you know, I was more graceful than you, Pete.
Actually rubbing it in, man.
No, I love you, bro. I'm a crier. You guys know that. I've cried around you guys before, and it's so nice, and I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for what you're doing. I'm so happy for where you've been, and I'm so happy for where you're going. You know, none of what you have right now happened without the pain.
Oh yeah, for someone who was a high school dropout, pregnant with her first child at 16, pregnant with her second child. I'm telling your story here. But pregnant with her second child at 18, thinking public assistance and government assistance is going to be my life. And when I became a nurse, I was married at the time with 2 small children. I was a breastfeeding mom, didn't think I was ever going to do it. And that's the other thing too, that I've reminded myself with sobriety and, you know, venturing into wholesaling and real estate. I have to even go back that far because there was a desire. I had a desire. And when you have that desire, and you'll do just about anything to quench that desire, you can succeed in anything. And
that's 100% right.
Yeah.
But I need to clarify one thing.
He's not pregnant.
That too. Okay, so I'm 58 and I've been driving trucks, like I said. Yeah, I know. It's time for you for a new model, right? Anyway, I've been driving trucks for 33 years. prior to this. And before that, I was an iron worker. I used to put up skyscrapers. Anyway, I've always had a desire to not be poor. I've always had a desire to be more than what I was. The problem is I didn't have the right mindset. It took me this long to realize that I was standing in my own way. You know, don't get me wrong, I made tons of money driving a truck. I really did. I mean, we're talking $250,000 a year, right? And that was a base. Most of it went to expenses, obviously. But I didn't know how to hold on to it because I was always in my way. You know, I always managed to blow it as I get discouraged. I always allowed the negativity from my past to basically screw me under. You know, and it was all me, 100%. I could say, oh yeah, so-and-so did it because of so-and-so, this, that, or the other. But I didn't realize it until recently. It's all me.
Yeah.
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 So,
And
anyway,
you
just
know,
need to say that.
something else too that dawned on me the other day is like when I was a nurse working full time after they took out taxes and benefits, typically my paychecks would be $2,500 every 2 weeks, which I mean, that's decent money.
Mhm.
That's good money. And the other day it struck me that, wow, my goal on each deal is a minimum of $10,000. That's my goal. And I'm like, that's just crazy. That is so crazy. And
It's
it doesn't
not.
mean it is, well,
It's you look, you took home more money this month than the doctors who you were working with at the hospital.
I know. That's so great.
You know, like that's so flipping cool. Right?
Yeah, who would have thought 50,000 in a month, man? I mean, really. Wow.
I mean, let me tell you this, Pete. That's just the beginning, bro. That's just the
believe
beginning.
it.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you.
You
I
know,
totally believe it.
$100,000 months are coming. $150,000 months will come. You're gonna have a $200,000 month. You will. I don't doubt it one bit. How tenacious, how consistent, and how loving you guys are. How grateful you guys are. How you are truly here for this, and you show up every day. There's no doubt in my mind you will succeed. You will hit every one of your goals and surpass them. You will.
Yeah, that's thank you. We appreciate that. You know, but honestly, half the joy comes from helping others. I mean, she still helps other wholesalers within the Astro community and outside of.
And that's the greatest reward. That to me is just the greatest reward is helping others. And even our 10%, I know we've struggled, and I believe like that 10% of everything that we make. But recently, because of relationships with other Astro students and knowing students who are struggling in certain areas, you know, we decided that could be our 10%.
Absolutely. You don't look.
Back.
When I say, you know, donating, tithing, whatever you want to say, right? Like it doesn't have to be to a church. I don't. Let me tell you what. Like Josiah, my business partner, he absolutely will. He tithes at the church. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I donate to people.
Right.
I give to people because I can see it. I can see what's happening with it, and I know it's not that I don't trust it going to a church. It doesn't matter to me, but I know when I have a friend or somebody, an associate or an individual that I've come into contact with who's struggling, and I'm able to like solve a problem for them. I can feel that, right? And you
know you're making a real difference.
100%. So you do what feels right. That's what the
right.
main thing is what feels right to you. Don't be writing checks to churches that you don't go to or you don't know. That's not how it goes. You know, that's at least for me. That's not how it goes.
I have to share this real quick. John Galan is probably one of the wisest individuals I've met. And the reason for that is because we were struggling when things were starting to get good. We were struggling. Wasn't struggling. we were having an argument.
Well, yeah, it was the 6,000 closing fee that got our water back on.
Right.
And I'm like, but we gotta give 10% away.
And I'm like, no. It's like we need to hold on to as much of it for now until stuff starts rolling better. And I wasn't being negative again. I was just being, preemptive.
Yeah, it's survival will always kick back in.
Right.
We have two ways of living, right? We can be the creature, which has to survive, and we can be the human, which has the capacity to thrive.
Right. So at this point, this is when John Gahn comes in, and she was on a phone call with him, and she had mentioned this to him, and he says, "But Heidi, you're looking at it the wrong way, because giving isn't just money. You're helping people every time you help them come, every time you help them nail a deal, because they're elevating their own status." And I was just like, damn, that's awesome.
And it's real. It's real. I truly believe the blessings in my life come from very much so how much I'm dedicating time and how much I give and help other people. I believe that. I see it. I see it written on my walls, like it is impossible for me to deny it now. And so the same goes for you. It's impossible to deny. You are impossible to deny. You guys are absolutely magical human beings, but no different from any of you listening, right?
Exactly.
From any of you listening, you guys heard it, right? You heard that an alcoholic just got sober, bored out of her mind, comes out, finds real estate, gets obsessed, gets supported by her loving husband, finds Astroflipping, does months of toiling and struggling and pushes, gets to a point where she gets her water turned off. They're literally eating at the food bank. And today they close a $35,000 deal and they're going to have a $50,000 a month, and so on it'll go. You guys have made it to the moon, and I am proud of you. I applaud you. I appreciate you, and I want to see you do more. I want to see you grow. Heidi, Pete, tell us how people can get a hold of you, what they can do with you, and how you can help them.
Okay, I guess I'm starting.
Well,
Our phone number is in the picture, which is actually my phone number, because we're still not spending a lot of money.
Say it for anybody who's not watching this and they're listening to it on the podcast.
Yes, our phone number is 602-918-0612. We are in the Arizona market, Phoenix and Tucson primarily. And Instagram is real, REAL .mavis, MAV as in Victor, IS .moments. And let's do some deals.
And as far as for me, you can, if you want to, reach out to me at 602-410-9766. I don't know how much help I can be because I'm still relatively new to the program and I'm still learning. So,
well, I think
mindset help. Hey, maybe I can.
Yeah, but if you're watching this right now and you've got an unsupportive spouse, or you've got an unsupportive partner in life, or they just don't know how to support you. Maybe they're supportive people, they don't know how. And that's a huge part of it. A lot of us want to do the thing that we don't know how to do, right? And it's not that spouses are like, I don't want to support him, I don't like him, or I don't like her. No, it's just like I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to show my entrepreneur in my life that I'm here for it, that I'm with them, even though they struggle and it's hard. Like this is a piece of it, right? And so there's a lot of people out there that this is real, guys. This is real life, right? So there's people watching this right now that are saying, man, this is just like my life. This is just like my situation at home. And maybe your significant other would love to have a conversation with Pete and hear a little bit about what it's like living in this journey, supporting it, and showing up in the best version of yourself, and always loving on your partner in life. Guys, this has been not only the longest episode of To the Moon that we've ever done, but in my opinion, one of the absolute best. You guys are fantastic human beings. I love you. I am proud of you, and I'm so glad that you're with us here on the moon.
Yes, thank you so much,
Well, thank you,
Jamil, for
Jamil.
everything.
Until the next one, guys.
All right, man. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
You absolutely will.
Next month will be over 50K, close to 100K.
Let's go, baby. Thanks for watching another one of my YouTube videos. Now it's your turn to go out and take some action. But before you do, like and subscribe to my channel, because the law of reciprocity means you owe me.